Today is 14th of July 2026. What happened? 14th of July
Okay, so have you
2026.
ever opened up log footage in DaVinci Resolve? You open it and you think, oh my god, that looks so grey and lifeless. What do I
So
do? How do I fix it? And how do I make this look better?
we
Well, this
say
is what this
welcome to
video
all
is
of
about.
you,
Today, I'm going to show you what you can do to improve
all
your
of
log footage
you,
without
all of the
having to
world,
go to
all of
color
the
grading
global
in DaVinci Resolve. So log footage.
viewers and our followers and our supporters and our members of community. So today is 14th of July 2026. Welcome, everybody, welcome. We are just starting our live here in Dubai. If you want to ask any questions, send me in the comments. Otherwise, I have to read the news to feed the live. We need at least 1 hour daily recording due to lack of timing for social media. We have to manage our job responsibilities. We have to manage our social media responsibilities. So, from starting from now, 1 hour I will record my video. If you want to ask any questions, you are welcome. 180 Iranian lawmakers call for end to MOU with the US state media. Dawn News from Pakistan, international credible newspaper, Dawn News is reporting that this is the name of credible reporting in Pakistan and the world. Dawn News. War returns to Iran with Israel-US strikes. Oh my God. American projectiles explode near Iranian power plant in Hormuzgan province. Iran semi-official Tasnim news agency reports that American projectiles have exploded near Kish power plant in country's Hormuzgan province. Pishkian praises resilience of Iranian people amid US strikes. Ask me any questions if you want to ask. Send me in the comments. I am waiting for your comments so that we have some communication. If you want to ask, you are welcome. If you don't want to ask, I have to feed my life by reading the news, the latest news. So the President Masoud Pezeshkian has praised the resilience of the Iranian people amid renewed strikes by the US, stating that historically southern Iran has been a symbol of resistance against colonialism. Today too, the noble people of this land with patience, steadfastness and perseverance are honorably enduring the difficult days resuming from the enemy's aggression. I stand beside and am grateful to these loyal and resilient people, he wrote on X. Air defense intercepting hostile aerial targets, Kuwaiti military says. So, from Kuwaiti military says it is currently confronting hostile aerial targets within the country's airspace. Then the Trump to replace 20% Hormuz reimbursement fee with trade and investment deals with Gulf states. Trump says he will forego the 20% reimbursement fee for protecting the state with the trade and investment deals that the various Gulf states will be making into the US. A day prior, Trump said that in addition to reinstating Washington's naval blockade, the US would take a 20% fee on all cargo passing through the strategic waterway. The president says in Tehran in a Truth Social post that he has made the decision following highly productive conversation with leaders in the region. Trump is always doing nonsense. Watch Iranian media shows footage of drone shot down by air defense in Bandar Abbas. Hormuz sees lowest ship passage since US-Iran deal in June. Oil gains by 3% on fresh attacks. Ships remain anchored in Strait of Hormuz as waterway closed. 180 Iranian lawmakers call for end to MOU with the US. State media. Iran's IRIB broadcaster reports that 180 lawmakers have issued a statement demanding retaliation for striking by the US and ending the what's it called Islamabad MOU with the US. The broadcaster adds that forming a special negotiation mission commission passing the Strait of Hormuz engagement management law and Strait of Hormuz management law and providing full support to the armed forces were also considered. Strait of Hormuz will reopen only when Iran's rights are respected, army says. The state and respecting the rights is the only path to what is this? According to Iranian state television, Iranian army spokesperson said the Strait of Hormuz will never reopen through the US attacks, war or evil. The only way to reopen it is by respecting the rights of the Iranian people. Latest round of direct Israel-Lebanon talks commence in Rome. Netanyahu warns Iran's leaders Israel will hit back if attacked. Israel PM Netanyahu has vowed to strike powerful against Iran in Tehran if Tehran carries out a new attack on his country. I will say to the leaders of Iran, do not count on things remaining quiet if you attack us. Netanyahu says at a conference, according to video released by his office. Body governing Hormuz Strait has says 200 vessels cross waterway before US strikes. Can Gulf countries defend themselves against renewed Iranian attacks? 55 detained Iranian fishermen freed in UAE, Iran embassy says. Freed in UAE, Iran embassy. India condemns latest tanker attacks, says one sailor dead and 10 injured. India has expressed deep concern over attacks on the MT Al-Bahia and MT Mombasa oil tankers during their transit through the Strait of Hormuz. A statement from the Ministry of External Affairs says both vessels were carrying 30 Indian seafarers among their combined crew. On the 12 Indian nationals on board MT Al-Bahia, one has tragically lost his life and another has been injured. Of the 18 Indian nationals on board MT Mombasa, 9 have sustained injuries, including 2 who are reported to be seriously injured. The statement read, extending condolences to the families of the deceased Indian nationals. Our mission and post in the UAE are closely monitoring the situation and are in touch with the UAE authorities to ensure all possible assistance to the affected Indian seafarers. The Deputy Chief of Mission of the Embassy of Iran in New Delhi was summoned this morning by the Ministry of External Affairs, and a strong protest against these attacks was lodged with him. India strongly condemned the attacks targeting seafarers and disrupting free and safe navigation through international waterways like the Strait of Hormuz. We also reiterate our deep concern on account of the resumption of attacks and escalation of hostilities in the West Asian region and call for an immediate cessation of violence and a return to dialogue and diplomacy in the interest of the peace, security and stability in the region. In particular, the targeting of commercial shipping and civilian infrastructure in the region must cease in order that free and unimpeded navigation and commerce through international waterways in the region. US will react nothing but failure in face of Iran's deterrence doctrine. Envoy. Iran's ambassador to Russia warns that American aggression against the Islamic Republic will lead to a calculable and structural failure for Washington. In a column titled The New Geometry of Global Power, published by the Russian news agency, Jalali points to how Iran's deterrence doctrine has been brought a new level by the synergy of defense capabilities and active diplomacy. Jalali, referring to the renewed US attacks on Iran, says aggressive behavior will only fail given the Islamic Republic diplomacy, which relies on social capital and popular legitimacy. The Iranian ambassador to Russia further wrote in this note that about the current geopolitical coordinates, beginning with the unprovoked war of aggression, which, according to him, was out of desperation by the US and Israeli regime. Israel says ready to move forward on two Lebanon pilot zones in Rome talks. European airlines warned against flying over Gulf airspace. Iran hacked Middle East mobile networks to track US personnel, report. Iran has hacked. You can ask me any question. If you want to ask, send me in the comments. Iran has hacked mobile networks throughout the Middle East to track the locations of the US personnel and contractors throughout the war, Al Jazeera reports citing. Norwegian tanker attacked off coast of Oman. A Norwegian tanker has been hit by an explosion caused by an unidentified device off the Oman coast. MTI network says in a statement that shipping companies stalled tankers reported that approximately 12:40 am local time, its tanker vessels, while on passage in the Arabian Sea of the coast of Oman, suffered from an explosion of unidentified external device. Oman to continue transparent, neutral cooperation to restore freedom of navigation in Hormuz Strait. The Omani Foreign Ministry has announced it will continue its transparent and neutral cooperation with all parties to restore freedom of navigation in the Strait of Hormuz in compliance with international law. The ministry, in light of discussions and views concerning navigation in the Strait of Hormuz, says it remains fully committed to its obligations as a state party to the UN Convention on the Law of the Sea and calls on all parties to respect and abide by international law. 3 jailed for life in Bahrain on charges of spying for Iran. This war is a disaster, Omani Foreign Minister. Omani Foreign Minister Badr al-Busaidi says the US-Israel war on Iran has achieved none of its officially assigned objectives. This war is a disaster. He writes in an opinion piece published in the French newspaper. The minister adds, nevertheless, if it finally buries the myth of containment in the Gulf, then there is reason for hope. The emergence of a fairer, more realistic and more effective system, thus correcting nearly half a century of strategic errors. For him, the most serious threats to the region do not come from Tehran but from Tel Aviv. Tel Aviv is the biggest enemy of the Muslims. Brent crude price jumps 5% after fresh US strikes on Iran. Iran reports US strikes at border area near Iraq with. Qatar Foreign Minister condemned attacks on UAE oil tankers in Strait of Hormuz. Bill submitted to Iranian Parliament on management of Hormuz. Hormuzgan Governorate confirms strikes west of Bandar Abbas. 4 points in Iran's Bushehr struck by enemy projectiles. Iran condemns Britain's designation of IRGC as security threat. 5 blasts heard around Bandar Abbas. Hormuz will never open by US aggression, Iran's army. The Strait of Hormuz will never be opened by war, evil, and American aggression. The Iranian Army's spokesperson, Brigadier General, was cited as saying by the Tasnim News. Resumption of hostilities in Middle East underlines instability. Bank of England Governor Andrew says that the resumption of hostilities between the US and Iran in recent days had increased risk of financial stability. It seems to me that the situation remained unstable and the ceasefire was fragile. I think where I am now, instability has come to pass. I don't certainly feel qualified to judge now how long this is going to go on for in terms of this. Mama Abu Fada 6767, welcome. Let me know from where you are watching our live. وين أنت موجود؟ وين دولة؟ وين مدينة؟ سجل هنا message. I can speak Arabic also a little bit. Gulf Cooperation Council slams attack on UAE tankers in Hormuz. The GCC has denounced Iranian attacks on two Emirati oil tankers in the Strait of Hormuz, with Secretary General Jassim Mohammed calling it an explicit violation of UN Security Council resolution. Lebanon and Israel hold talks in Rome amid renewed Middle East fighting. Hormuz cargo fee would be fundamentally wrong. Israel continued to breach ceasefire in southern Lebanon. German economy brightens mid-year, but Iran war risks cloud outlook. Iran's critical Akala bridge reopens after US bombing. Train services have resumed along a critical international transit route in Iran days after a US airstrike damaged a key railway bridge. According to local news outlets SNN, the Akala bridge in Golistan province is fully operational. Again, following rapid repair, Iranian officials have frequently described it as the country's most important transit corridor, serving as a central link between Tehran and the northeastern border towards China and Turkmenistan. The Iranian daily Kehan reported the route is used for the movement of Russian cargo, and the railway line has also seen a significant surge in traffic from Chinese freight operators. It noted Beijing is increasingly relying on this overland route to bypass the volatile shipping lanes since the US-Israel war on Iran. Oil hits 4-week high as US-Iran conflict escalates. Kuwait condemns Iran's attacks on UAE tankers. Most Gulf markets fall on US-Iran hostilities. China urges US-Iran to restore safe passage through Strait of Hormuz. China called on the US and Iran to restore safe passage through the Strait of Hormuz as fighting between the two sides reignited over how strategic waterway should be managed. Restoring normal and safe passage through the strait as soon as possible is a shared aspiration of the international community. Tanker struck by missile near Oman's Lima. Iran has shipped over 80 million barrels of oil since the MOU signing. Iran has what's next? Brazil's Lula slams Trump's Hormuz tariff plans as piracy. Explosions heard in Bahrain. New Delhi summons Iranian deputy ambassador over killing of Indian seafarer. IRGC says it struck two tankers misled by US into crossing mined waters of Hormuz Strait. Iranian lawmakers say a bill on Hormuz security introduced. All the news are very, very sad news for the world, for the global economy, for the Middle East. And also all the news are bad, very sad for the humanity, for the world, for the people of the world. Iran rescued 23 foreign crew members after a bulk carrier collided with another vessel north of Kishim Island in the Strait of Hormuz. The semi-official Fars news agency reported, according to Reuters, Israel uses white phosphorus in southern Lebanon. So these are all news from Iran war related. Let's see what's next news. Oil prices hit 4 weeks high. If current brinksmanship continues, a return to full-scale war in the Middle East is inevitable. AJK government says Operation Murder underway to reopen routes blocked by the banned JAC. CDF Munir meets Turkish President Erdogan, Armed Forces Chief in Ankara, ISPR. After Houthi attacks on Saudi Arabia, PM Shahbaz reaffirms Pakistan's support for kingdom security. That's great news from Pakistan. As Pakistan has signed a defense and security agreement with Saudi Arabia, the Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif said on Tuesday that Pakistan strongly condemned the blatant attacks against Saudi Arabia the previous night, reaffirming Islamabad's unwavering support for the kingdom's security. The Premier's condemnation on X post did not further specify the attacks, but his statement came after Saudi Arabia said on Monday that it had been intercepted ballistic missiles fired at the country's south by Houthi. Such reprehensible actions constitute a violation of the sovereignty and territorial integrity of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and have the potential to further undermine regional peace and stability. He said Pakistan reaffirms its unwavering support for the kingdom's security and stands in complete solidarity with the brotherly Kingdom of Saudi Arabia at this critical time. On its part, Pakistan will continue to support all sincere efforts aimed at promoting peace, stability, security, and mutual understanding across the region. Pakistan and Saudi Arabia have maintained close defense and security ties for decades, and their cooperation has remained an important element of Islamabad's regional diplomacy. In September 2025, the two countries signed a strategic mutual defense agreement in Riyadh, pledging that any attack on either nation would be treated as an act of aggression against both. On Monday, Pakistan backed Saudi Arabia at an emergency UN Security Council briefing on Yemen as well, calling for all parties concerned to resolve differences through dialogue and diplomacy. Pakistan's statement at the Security Council was focused on these three issues: support for Saudi Arabia's security, respect for Yemen's sovereignty, and the need for an inclusive political settlement to end the conflict in Yemen. Latest flare-up in Yemen. Yemen has been gripped by conflict since the Houthis seized the capital Sana'a in 2014, triggering a Saudi-led military intervention in support of the beleaguered government the following year. In the latest flare-up in the conflict, the Yemeni government on Monday attacked the international airport in the capital Sana'a. The Saudi-backed Yemeni government said it wanted to prevent an Iranian plane from landing in Sana'a after it failed to convince a Houthi delegation which went to Tehran for assassinated Iranian Supreme Leader Khamenei's funeral to board a flight of Yemen flag carrier instead. Hours after the airport attack, Saudi Arabia said it intercepted ballistic missiles fired at the country's south by Houthis. Monday's flare-up was the biggest between the Yemeni government and the Houthi in years, with the latter blaming Saudi Arabia for threatening to unravel a UN negotiated truce that has been holding since 2022. This is also the sad news. New York becomes first US state to impose the data center moratorium. What is this? New York became the first US state on Tuesday to halt construction of large new data centers, imposing a one-year moratorium as the concern grows that the facilities driving the artificial intelligence boom are raising power costs. straining water supplies and burdening local communities. So the moratorium positioned New York at the forefront of a growing national debate over how to manage the infrastructure needed to support AI. While technology companies are racing to build new data centers, lawmakers and regulators in dozens of states are weighing measures to limit their effect to electricity grids, utility bills, and local communities. As data center development threatens to hike up utility bills, deplete our natural resources, and create uncertainty for New Yorkers, it's my responsibility to take action and lead, New York Governor said. She will also pursue legislation to repeal sales tax exemption for large data centers. The construction ban will apply to data centers that use 50 megawatts or more power officials in the governor's office. During the moratorium, the state's Department of Environment Conservation will not issue any discretionary permits not already deemed complete the governor's office. Instead, Hochul directed state officials to develop a generic environmental impact statement to ensure that new data centers coming online are held to consistent standards. This is local news from New York. PM Shehbaz directs remittances from abroad be fully digitized. 21 of 26 WFP vehicles carrying aid enter Afghanistan via Turkham border. Aid AJDJ, welcome. Leo Garcia, AJDJ, welcome. Let me know your question, your information, your feedback. I am waiting for your questions. Always welcome. We are complete just almost half an hour recording, and the next half an hour more. After that, we will close our bloodbath at Pakistan Stock Exchange as KSE 100 losses 6,400 points over renewed US-Iran fighting. Can US Senator Lindsey Graham's Ukraine initiative survive without him? Lindsey Graham is dead, no more. He will face the accountability. He will face the nature's promise. Everyone will face the nature's promise after death. We have to face the accountability. We have to face the punishment or rewards. So anyone who is living according to the instructions written in the message will be happy in the heaven, in the paradise. Anyone who is disbelieving the message, who is not following the instructions written in the message, will face the hellfire. This is a reality. Nobody can escape the death. Nobody can escape the hellfire. Hellfire is waiting for the people who don't believe in message, who don't believe in God, who don't believe in true God, who don't believe in the instructions given in the message in the Holy Book. They will face the hellfire, of course. Nobody can support there. Nobody can get any support from anyone. Everyone will be responsible for his actions in this world. Let's see the Gulf News, another official newspaper from Dubai. Trump withdraws planned 20% levy on What the hell is this Trump? One day he says something, the other day he says other thing. UAE residents update, tanker attacks, flights alerts. Fresh Europe warning for flights over Gulf airspace. Will the region slide into full-scale war? It's in the Gulf News. This is report in the Gulf News. The Middle East is once again on edge. Fresh US strikes on Iranian targets, Tehran's retaliation and renewed tensions in the Strait of Hormuz have once again raised fears that the Middle East could slide into a full-scale war. Yet, despite the sharp escalation, analysts say the conflict has not crossed the point of no return. Instead, both sides appears to be using military pressure to strengthen their bargaining positions while leaving room for diplomacy, even as the risk of a dangerous miscalculation grows. Why analysts say a wider war is not inevitable? One of the strongest indicator is that diplomatic channels have not completely broken down. Although the June memorandum has come under severe strain, Oman continues efforts to mediate between Washington and Tehran, and neither side has formally ruled out renewed negotiation. Chatham House noted that whatever agreement eventually emerges, Iran is likely to rebuild its deterrence around its ability to influence the Strait of Hormuz, rather than seek outright military victory. Military actions also suggest both sides are calibrating their responses. The US has intensified airstrikes and economic pressure but has not launched a ground invasion of Iran. Tehran has retaliated through missiles, drones, and attacks on shipping, but has not attempted to permanently close the Strait of Hormuz or expand attacks across every Gulf state simultaneously. Why neither side can easily achieve its goals? This is the reality. This is the reality that why neither side can easily achieve its goals. Military experts say reopening the Strait of Hormuz by force would require far more than airstrikes. According to the Associated Press, Iran has spent decades preparing asymmetric defenses, including dispersed missile systems, drones, and naval capabilities, making any attempt to fully secure the waterway costly and potentially requiring a much larger US military commitment. At the same time, Iran understands that a prolonged conventional war against the US would carry enormous military and economic costs. That leaves both sides relying on pressure rather than decisive victory. Around one-fifth of the world's oil normally bypasses through the Strait of Hormuz. Every attack on shipping immediately affects freight costs, insurance premium, and energy prices. Reuters said oil markets may be underestimating the danger because traders appear to believe neither Washington nor Tehran actually wants a wider war. But it warned that brinkmanship and miscalculation remain serious risks, particularly after the collapse of the ceasefire framework. The greatest danger is miscalculation. That does not mean the region is safe. The Associated Press warned that each new exchange increases the possibility that events spiral beyond the intentions of either government, a strike causing heavy civilian casualties, a direct clash between US and Iranian naval forces, or an attack on major Gulf energy infrastructure. Or a direct clash between US and Iranian naval forces or attack on major Gulf energy infrastructure could rapidly transform a contained confrontation into a regional conflict. Bottom line, so how close is the Middle East to all-out war? Closer than it has been since the fighting resumed, but not yet there. For now, Washington and Tehran appear to be balancing military pressure with diplomatic signaling, each seeking greater leverage before any future negotiations. But with daily strikes, rising tensions in the Strait of Hormuz, and the ceasefire framework ceasefire framework under severe strain. A margin for error is shrinking. As Reuters observed, the current standoff is increasingly defined not only by confrontation but by the danger that a single miscalculation could trigger the wider conflict both sides have so far avoided. The next is two ADNOC tankers hit in Strait of Hormuz. UAE flights affected after Saudi airport attack. Sheikh Mohammed turned 77, a lasting legacy. Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, a great personality, a visionary and legendary leader, ruler of Dubai. Let's see this news. Dubai, tomorrow, Wednesday, July 15, the UAE will celebrate a momentous occasion, the birthday of His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, Vice President and Prime Minister of the UAE and ruler of Dubai. As he completes 77 years of a life that has been nothing short of extraordinary, the nation pauses to honor a leader whose vision, determination, and commitment to progress have transformed a desert outpost into a global powerhouse. Few modern leaders have left such a profound mark on the place they call home. Sheikh Mohammed's journey is one of vision, perseverance, and an enduring belief that the future belongs to those willing to build it. Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid bin Said Al Maktoum bin Hashir bin Maktoum Al Maktoum Al Farasi was born in Dubai on July 15, 1949. So tomorrow is July 15, okay. Into the distinguished Al Maktoum family. His grandfather Sheikh Said bin Maktoum bin Hashir Al Maktoum was the ruler of Dubai at the time of his birth. The family home in the historic Al Shindagha neighborhood would become the cradle of his formative years, surrounded by wisdom of elders and the warmth of family. His father, the late Sheikh Rashid bin Said Al Maktoum, assumed leadership of Dubai in 1958 when young Mohammed bin Rashid was just 10 years old. As the third son among four brothers, Sheikh Maktoum, Sheikh Hamdan, and Sheikh Ahmed, Muhammad grew up in an environment where leadership was not merely discussed but lived and breathed daily. The influence of his mother, Sheikha Latifa bint Hamdan bin Zayed Al Nahyan, on his character cannot be overstated. The depth of their bond was so profound that decades after her passing in 1983, he would write in his book, My Story, when they leave, something extinguishes in our lives and in our homes. When they leave, the features of roads, homes, and faces changes. Even food tastes different. Who is like my mother? Who is like Latifa? Oh my God. Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid at the age of 77 is still missing his mother. He cannot find the same taste. He cannot find the same food taste. He cannot find the same things. He famously described her as the closest to me. I have never seen love like her love, nor a heart like her heart, nor closeness like her closeness. His grandfather, Sheikh Said, provided another key influence, allowing young Muhammad to sit beside him at the daily majlis in Shindagha. There, surrounded by tribal elders and community leaders, the boy absorbed lessons in governance, wisdom, patience, and the importance of serving God, nation, and people. The majlis became his first classroom in the art of leadership. Early education and military training. Sheikh Muhammad's formal education began at the age of 4 under his father's supervision, learning Arabic language, fundamentals, and Islamic teachings. In 1955, he enrolled at Al-Ahmadiyya School in Dera, later transferring to Al-Shab School and finally Dubai Secondary School, where he completed his secondary education in 1964 and 65. His father, recognizing that his son possessed the qualities necessary for managing growing security demands both locally and internationally, made the pivotal decision to send him to Britain for military education. In the summer of 1966, Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum traveled to London to attend Bell School of Languages in Cambridge, an institution that exposed him to diverse cultures through students from across the globe. From there, he enrolled at Mons Officer Cadet School in Aldershot, which later became part of the Royal Military Academy, Sandhurst. There, he underwent intensive military training and was promoted to the rank of second lieutenant on probation. So his exceptional performance earned him the Sword of Honor for achieving the highest distinction in the specialization. The dawn of leadership, a young man's responsibilities. Upon graduating from Mons Officer Cadet School in October 1968, Sheikh Rashid appointed his son as Chief of Dubai Police and Public Security. At just 19 years old, Sheikh Mohammed assumed responsibility for maintaining law and order in an emirate that was rapidly transforming into a commercial and tourist hub. This appointment came at a critical moment. Just months later, on February 1968, Sheikh Mohammed had witnessed a historic meeting at Al Saadiya between his father and Sheikh Zayed bin Sultan Al Nahyan of Abu Dhabi. The two leaders agreed to establish a federation of emirates and invited others to join them. Sheikh Mohammed vividly recalls that moment. I was there and saw the meeting of good intentions with high ambitions in a tent without carpets. I heard Rashid say to Zayed, "You are the president." Thus, Zayed became the president, father, founder, and eternal leader of the state. Zayed did not ask for the presidency. Rather, history summoned him to build a nation and a state. The birth of a nation and a minister. On December 2, 1971, the United Arab Emirates was officially established, and Sheikh Mohammed, at just 22 years old, was appointed Minister of Defense, making him the youngest defense minister in the world and one of the longest serving in history. He held this position for over 50 years until 2024, when he appointed his son Sheikh Hamdan bin Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, Crown Prince of Dubai, as Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Defense. His responsibilities, however, extended far beyond defense. In the summer of 1977, Sheikh Rashid entrusted him with chairing a committee to manage Dubai Airport. From that moment, Sheikh Mohammed's vision began shaping Dubai's trajectory as a global aviation hub. He pioneered the open skies policy and laid the foundation for a tourism sector that would flourish in subsequent decades. Simultaneously, he managed Dubai's sensitive oil portfolio and in 1985 assumed responsibility for the Jebel Ali Free Zone, an industrial area enhanced by the Jebel Ali port. Through all the regional turbulence that surrounded the Arab world, the Arab-Israeli conflict, the Iran-Iraq war, the invasion and liberation of Kuwait, Sheikh Mohammed never wavered. He continued driving progress in Dubai and the UAE while steadfastly maintaining historic humanitarian position alongside brotherly and friendly nations. The Crown Prince unleashing Dubai's potential. When Sheikh Maktoum bin Rashid assumed leadership following their father's passing in October 1990, a somber period followed for Sheikh Mohammed and his brother. But in January 1995, Sheikh Maktoum signed a decree appointing Sheikh Mohammed as Crown Prince of Dubai. This appointment would prove transformative for the emirate. With boundless energy and vision, Sheikh Mohammed launched a cascade of initiatives and mega projects that would alter Dubai's destiny. Among these were the Dubai Shopping Festival, Dubai e-government, Dubai Internet City, Dubai Media City. He personally supervised the implementation of massive tourism and construction ventures, including the expansion of Dubai Airport, the Palm Island project, the Burj Al Arab Hotel, Dubai Marina, the Business Bay, and the Burj Khalifa, the world's tallest building. Each of these landmarks has become synonymous with Dubai's ascent to global prominence. Today, Sheikh Mohammed's fingerprints can be seen everywhere in Dubai, from e-services and transportation networks to the Dubai International Financial Center and global corporations like Emirates Airline and DP World. The ruler, defining a new era. On January 4, 2006, Sheikh Mohammed succeeded his late brother Sheikh Maktoum as the ruler of Dubai, becoming the 10th ruler of the Emirates since 1833. Simultaneously, he became a member of the Supreme Council of the Union. The late Sheikh Khalifa bin Zayed Al Nahyan, then president of UAE, proposed appointing Sheikh Mohammed as the vice president and prime minister, tasking him with forming a new government, which was announced in February 2006. Just as he had transformed Dubai, Sheikh Mohammed accelerated progress at the federal level through successive governments. He propelled the UAE into the future with smart government services, a diversified and resilient economy, and the implementation of major strategies, most notably UAE Vision 2021. Under his leadership, the UAE government became a global model for development and modernization. A leader's profile, the man behind the title. Sheikh Mohammed's leadership style is characterized by exceptional competence, strategic vision, a love for achievement and excellence, humility, humanity, profound patriotism, and a remarkable combination of high culture and logical dialogue. He is known for his practical approach, following up on projects personally, encouraging the dedicated and inspiring positivity and leadership both locally and globally. His day begins early with the dawn prayer, followed by breakfast and a whirlwind of activities. Despite holding multiple positions, he prioritizes time with his family, whom he considered the most precious thing in existence. He sits with his children, offering wisdom from his life experiences and instilling love for God, the Prophet, the UAE, Sheikh Zayed, and his grandfather Sheikh Rashid. He nurtures in them a love for authentic Emirati heritage, traditions, and cultural pursuit. Sheikh Mohammed has 16 children, 7 sons, and 9 daughters. His marriage to Sheikha Hind bin Maktoum bin Jumma Al Maktoum in 1979 was a grand celebration spanning 7 days, attended by the founding fathers of the UAE, the late Sheikh Zayed and Sheikh Rashid, along with over 20,000 participants at Dubai Stadium. Beyond governance, Sheikh Mohammed is a celebrated Nabati poet. He began composing poetry while still a student, drawing inspiration primarily from his father, Sheikh Rashid and Sheikh Zayed. In his early days, he published poems under pseudonyms like Nidavi and Sulat to ensure they were accepted by readers on their merit rather than his lineage. His poetry blends Nabati and classical rhyming styles, encompassing romantic themes, patriotic verse, and commentary on current events. His works have been set to music and performed by renowned Arab singers including Qadim al-Sahir, Latifa al-Tunisi, Asala al-Nasri, and Abdul Majid Abdullah, making his words resonate far beyond political circles. The Horseman, a passion for equine excellence. Sheikh Mohammed is known globally as Faris al-Arab, the Arab Knight, for his extraordinary achievements in equestrian sports. His love for horses developed early under his father's encouragement, and he became the most passionate among his brothers about horsemanship, even composing poetry about these noble animals. So, uh, his first appearance at international horse racing was in England in 1967 during his studies there. 10 years later, he achieved his first global victory with the mare Hatta at Brighton Racecourse in England on June 20, 1977. This passion grew into the creation of the Go Dolphin. Go Dolphin. The world's most successful horse racing team, where Sheikh Mohammed applied his vision and philosophy to the sport. In 1996, he launched the Dubai World Cup, the world's richest horse race, which attracted the legendary American horse Cigar to win the inaugural competition. The race continues to draw participants from across the globe, cementing Dubai's place on the international sporting calendar. Sheikh Mohammed personally leads the national team in endurance racing. The UAE riders are considered among the best in the world in this discipline. Under Sheikh Mohammed's leadership, the UAE has become a global model for development and modernization. The country ranks among the top in the region for attracting investment and ease of doing business. Government services have been revolutionized, with the UAE consistently ranking among the world's most competitive nations. Sheikh Mohammed's vision has always prioritized citizens' needs in vital sectors including education, health, social affairs, and the economy. He has repeatedly emphasized that building the nation and humanity is the greatest and most noble goal in life, and that the citizen comes first, second, and third. His exceptional leadership has brought about a qualitative transformation in citizens' lives and living standards, as well as in government operations at both federal and local levels. And he has established a leadership school whose foundational principle is building people and creating future leaders. His approach has become a guiding compass for leaders worldwide across the various fields. So this was the brief history and story of Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum. So we are happy to know that tomorrow is the birthday of Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid, the ruler of Dubai, at the age of 77. My name is also Mr. KD 777. So Sheikh, ruler of Dubai, Sheikh Mohammed will be also 77 tomorrow. Born leader at 16, British records chart Sheikh Mohammed's early ascent. Long before Dubai's transformation into a global hub, British officials were already documenting the emergence of a young Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum as a born leader, according to official records dating back to the late 1960s. The papers produced by government departments in London describe how, from his teenage years, Sheikh Mohammed commanded the confidence of his father, Sheikh Rashid bin Said Al Maktoum, who regarded him as a natural extension of his own leadership. That confidence, the record suggests, was evident as early as the age of 16, when he was already being prepared for responsibilities well beyond his years. In 1968, assessment by the British Ministry of Defence identified Sheikh Mohammed as the most promising figure to help build Dubai's defence capabilities, an observation made when he was still in his teens. Those early efforts would later feed into the foundations of the UAE's armed forces following the country's formation. By the early 1970s, British officials were describing him in unequivocal terms as a born leader. His appointment as Minister of Defence in 1971, the year the UAE was established, was seen in those reports as a stabilizing and forward-looking decision for the nascent federation. In December of that year, he became the youngest defense minister in the world. Wow. Amazing history, amazing history. The document also charts his early involvement in civil aviation, an area that would come to define Dubai's global connectivity. Under his supervision, development plans for Dubai International Airport accelerated, driven by an ambitious agenda that sought to position the Emirate as a major aviation hub. That ambition did not go unnoticed abroad. Back in 1981, a note from the office of Margaret Thatcher pointed out how quickly Dubai's airport was developing, even raising questions about how that kind of progress was happening with relatively limited resources, especially when compared to places like Heathrow. So this is all the life story of Sheikh Mohammed. Lieutenant General Mohammed Ahmed Al Murray, Director General of the General Director of Identity and Foreign Affairs, Dubai, marked the 18th anniversary of the appointment of Sheikh Hamdan bin Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum as the Deputy Ruler of Dubai. He said that February 1 represents a significant milestone in Dubai's modern history, recalling the decrees issued in 2008 that ushered in a new phase of leadership marked by vision, integration, and sustainable development. These appointments laid the foundation for a comprehensive leadership approach whose impact has been clearly reflected in Dubai's progress and balanced growth across all sectors. He noted that the past 18 years have demonstrated a practical model of youthful and ambitious leadership, one that works through teamwork, forward planning, and the transformation of strategies into tangible achievements. This approach, he added, has reinforced Dubai's position as a global hub for economic growth, innovation, quality of life, and effective governance. Lieutenant General Al Murray highlighted that under the vision of Sheikh Hamdan bin Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, people have been placed at the heart of development with strong investment in national talent and accelerated innovation across sectors. At the same time, he said Sheikh Maktoum bin Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum has played a key role in strengthening institutional stability, enhancing government efficiency and ensuring alignment between economic and development policies, contributing to Dubai's global competitiveness and international confidence in its economy. At the General Directorate of the Identity and Foreign Affairs, Dubai, we draw inspiration from this leadership model to continuously develop our services, enhance institutional readiness, and deliver proactive solutions aligned with the leadership future vision. Lieutenant General Al-Mari reaffirmed the department's commitment to supporting Dubai's development journey through responsible governance, innovation, and excellence in public service. He concluded by expressing his best wishes for the continued success of the UAE's leadership, stressing that Dubai will remain a global model for leadership, achievement, and shaping the future. So this was the brief history of the life of ruler of Dubai, Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum. So now is the time for opening our live on TikTok so that we can play some beautiful music of the Bobby Wine, our hero, our leader, our brother, our freedom fighter. So I'm gonna close my live here for YouTube, and I'm gonna open my live for TikTok. Thank you very much for everyone who is watching, who is supporting. So see you tomorrow. See you tomorrow.